Hello everyone, and welcome everyone to the Songs of War episode 10 Hangout. I'm your host David, and we have a lot of people joining us today. Just go down the list, say who you are, what you do.
Hello, I'm Dan, also known as After Infinity, and I made the Songs of War music. Mostly. Badger.
Oh, sorry, my Wi-Fi cut out. Hi, I'm Badger. I'm the writer-editor for Songs of War.
Carl.
Hi, I am Thalius Ansgalius.
Ooh. I'm Ilasabu. I voice Abigail.
Hogtown Bartender.
I am the Hogtown Bartender, also known as Nerdy Nom Nom Online. You may know me from memes in the Discord server.
My name is Jackson Trent, and I am Igneous.
My name's Judo, and I animated the best parts of songs.
No, I'm Luke. I animated the even better parts of Songs of War.
Hi, I'm Mina. I voiced Rhea Sandaris in Songs of War.
Hi, I'm Pixel. I do character animation and I animate the ending of Songs of War, which is better than the rest of them.
I'm Sam. I'm the co-director of the series.
I'm Steven. I'm also known as Steven, and I voice Lucan.
I'm Tom, and I voice Sen.
I'm Cillian, and I do fight animation for Songs of War.
Alright, let us know if those audios were all good. I was doing a little bit of audio balancing as everyone was doing their intros. Let us know if we all sound good volume-wise. Let me know if I sound loud or quiet. I can adjust mine. Otherwise, if you have questions for any of these people, any of the animation stuff, questions about episode 10, let us know in the comments, and we will get to answering them. And if anyone here sees good questions, just call them out as we kind of read through the chat. So,
Maybe you should cover the big one first, the in regards to season 2.
Oh.
You probably
I don't
want
want to start that with.
Let's
start that downer.
Let's do that.
We cannot start with the great ballad of the Hogtown Bartender. That's spoilers.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Well, here we already go. Here it is. Here we go. Mina is Rhea live. I told you every episode.
Every time.
Oh.
Well, I will. I'll say this right now. It's a very open-ended question, and it's a very open-ended answer.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
Sounds
find out.
open-ended.
I don't know. I don't remember, honestly. I have no idea what happened. I am as in the dark as everybody else is, so we'll wait.
You recorded in the you were in the very first round of casting, and you finished up in the first few months, right?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty ace with that.
So you voiced like 3 years ago almost at this point.
It's been
so
so
two
long.
or 3 years.
And I scripts because I wanted to watch it as it came out because like the animation's really good, so I really do not remember what happened apart from maybe like the very end, but like we'll see.
Yeah. I guess I will at least briefly, just because people keep asking. All the questions are indeed about season 2. We'll answer stuff about season 2 at the end of the episode, end of the live stream. I don't want to start getting into that right now.
We do have one question from Venom5667. What was your favorite part from the last 5 episodes? I guess that's a general question to everyone.
General question. Anyone knows what calls something out?
Ooh,
Favorite part from the last 5?
The fight between
Dessinger battle.
Right.
Zillions.
Yeah.
Absolutely the last fight.
Zillion.
Fight!
Since we got you here now, Zillion, and we talked a little bit about fights before, why don't you talk a little bit about, that's been a pretty much one of the big highlights of the whole season. You can talk a little bit about the Deathsinger and Tidesinger fight.
Like, what exactly?
Yeah, just like, I mean, what'd you do
The
to it?
jumping on the platforms thing with the
Jumpy Boy. You can talk about
Jumpy Boy.
I love Jumpy Boy.
No.
Favorite part of the whole fight scene was Jumpy Boy.
It was cool.
Yeah, I agree. No, we just made sure to add a lot of songs, especially due to the Prime songs being used now. So
yeah,
we made
first time
sure
we see
to
Prime songs, really.
yeah, include a lot of different and exciting songs. So we had to invent.
And that was the very last fight you did. I don't think people really know that. Like, when we were releasing, you know, episode 1, episode 2, he was still working on that scene. The series was like releasing, and he was still animating that fight.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was like that was the last scene to be completed, I think. So you can really see the difference between like your very first little fight scene and then your absolute final one. But it's also a cool opportunity because for Zillion and I, for all the other fights, we kind of have to keep it a little bit more okay, you know. We want to make him look strong, but we don't want to make him look too ridiculous. But there, it was like, it was these two legends. They could like have all these songs. They were jumping around. They were just going crazy. So it was really cool just to let the fight just go.
And a lot of fun too.
Those two were so young to see a fight at that speed in their prime.
Yeah,
it's just so epic.
Yeah, it was incredible. Like that fight. I was
thanks.
living that fight. Like I
Yeah,
thought
you-
that the
you killed
tiger
it.
fight at the end was great, but that fight.
It was sick.
It was
Sickest
literally
of
amazing.
six.
I was like, oh my gosh, wow. Like this is
I know.
Blushing
I
over
was so giddy.
It was good.
I'm seeing a lot of stuff in the chat. How are songs made?
How are songs
Well,
made?
when a daddy song and a mommy song.
Yeah, there you go. That answers that.
There you go.
Thomas, if you, for the people that are like spamming the same question like 7 times, do you mind just timing them out temporarily? I don't know if you're moderating chat, Thomas.
Sure.
Thank you. I've seen like the whole chat is just like the same question over and over and over.
And for the sake of someone asking, Voltaris. And that's it. That's it. That's all you get. You won. You get one.
But I want another one.
Fun fact, I could not pronounce Voltaires correctly. Like
I don't
at
think
all.
any of us
Oh,
could.
that was
No
none
one
of you guys
could.
could.
It's so hard.
It all became
Because it was
Voltaris.
Voltaris.
Yeah.
Voltaris.
I think almost every single voice actor
Voltaris.
who said Voltaris at least had one blooper. Voltaris.
Oh yeah.
Voltarice.
For Jackson, for you it was Ardonia or Ardonia.
Oh my gosh. They just. Yeah, Ardeny, I think is what I said the first time. Ardeny. Yep. His
If we
name.
mumble everything, then there's no right or wrong way.
Exactly.
Salad.
Solid advice. Solid advice.
I've noticed this question pop up in a few of the live streams, asking for a map of Ardonia, and I think there is one already in the Discord, right?
Yeah, there's one in the Discord. There's one also in the episode 4 Hangout description. I gave that out right away. Unless they mean the actual like Minecraft map, which we're gonna save for a little while longer still. You'll know when that map's out. I'll make a big video about it.
There's a question for Ria. What do you think of Sen?
Oh, here we go.
Let's do some role play here.
Well, of course they're
In
like
character.
best friends forever. I mean, come on, they grew up together basically. They're so close.
Goodbye, free Tom.
So you know, there's got to be like a lot of deep love there. You know, they are really close. They're friends. You know.
I love him like a brother.
Oh, Sam.
I always saw their kind of dynamic interesting because both of them kind of had similar experiences where Ria was like the only female and kind of had a different situation growing up, and then Sen was the only kind of clanless one, and both of them were kind of separated, and then together they kind of found the similarity in that.
Yeah, they're both kind of not outcasts exactly,
But yeah, the slightly
Yeah,
different ones.
I agree.
How did Carl react when he knew about Thalias's death and that he had to voice his brother Gallius?
I believe we discussed it because when we did the audition, after getting the audition, you told me that it was really for 2 roles.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind dying. It's not my first one, but
Any voice actors died before.
But to do the transition, it was just finding the voice for Gallius that was, for whatever reason, was like the hardest thing. But David convinced me that it was my natural voice that was the best move for Gallius, and a lot of characterization for Gallius I did was revolved around my own brother, and just kind of looking at the yin and yang of their so-called relationship. Since it's like, you know, mom and dad had kids. From what the impression I got off the script, mom and dad had kids, but they didn't do anything. They just went on their own ways in life. They just had different paths. Thalias was the adventurer, and Gallius was the thinker and the preparer. He had so I don't. Also, there was another question. It was like, does he fight? And I'm pretty sure he doesn't. Like I said, he's more of a strategist.
good answer. Here's a little kind of question to add on to that. You mentioned a little bit about the whole like the different voices. In the behind the scenes, I included a little clip where we kind of we did that big file where we did the Gallius voice, then we tried the Thalius voice. Can you give an example of maybe like say like hello, I'm Carl, but then say it in like the Thalius voice and then say it in the Gallius voice, so people kind of get the idea of like how we changed it.
Hello, I am Thalius. Hello, I am Gallius.
Yeah, it was just having that like nice, just kind of
Once
cleaner,
more
clear.
Gandalf.
Very nice.
And once I feel like once you hear that and you start noticing that, then you start listening to those lines and you're like, oh yeah, he doesn't have that kind of Ardoni big, epic, grand voice. He just kind of said like, welcome to my workshop. You know, you can take a seat there if you want. Versus like, you can take a seat there if you want.
He doesn't have quite the Thalius swagger.
Yeah, the swagger.
Yeah. He did a good job. of
Medieval
really
fantasy
differentiating the
swagger.
characters and who they are.
Here's a question for Abigail. How did you feel about Luna? Your baby dragon.
So cute. But not as cute as Sam. I mean, come on.
Aw, thank you.
Sam.
I was yelling like, please get it.
Have you seen Alyssa, have you seen any of the reactions for episode 10 yet?
Yes, I have. Oh.
When Luna
but I
shows
mean,
up.
like, I mean, Luna's good. I mean, can't beat Cat Sam though. Inside jokes. But yeah, yeah, no, I'm glad people seem to be enjoying the fact that Luna's a thing. Maybe I wonder whether people might think though that Sam died so that Luna can come in, but
Yeah,
it's all good.
We can't animate both guys.
We should just give
My
in Luna like a little
Episode
saddle.
10, she was like, I love the dragon, but she can't replace the dog, right? She's not replacing Sam. I'm like, no, she's not replacing Sam.
Sam's my number one, guys.
What if she treats the dragon like a dog? It's got a collar in season 2.
No.
Go
For a little bone ID tag.
Oh my gosh.
You're basically Daenerys from Game of Thrones.
Oh, don't say that, because then it's gonna end up like Daenerys.
Yeah, HBO is gonna sue.
Well, no, I'm just thinking about what happened to Daenerys in the end.
Is
yeah,
a question...
I don't think anybody really wants that for Abigail.
Here's a question for After Infinity. Will there be any additional soundtracks that'll be released that wasn't in the series?
Oh, yes. Just yesterday I put together a whole extended material soundtrack that's like an hour long. And that has some of Arby's sketches on it as well.
My junk.
So those will come out and you'll get to hear them on Spotify and iTunes.
Is that like all the underscore stuff as well?
Yes, yeah.
A lot of
and
it's
all the
sketches.
little sketches and
Yeah.
tests.
You're not gonna put on something vaguely songs of worse though. Gotta DM me for that one. I also noticed. I just noticed, Mia, you were also pulling questions out. See something there.
Yeah. Let's see it.
Trying to. It goes so fast.
There were a few
already
super
asked
chats
some- we
that
asked
came
some of those
through.
last time. Okay.
One of them was asking about season 2, but we'll get to that in the end. And one of them was talking about Lucan and Nika, whether or not they have a thing going on.
We kind of
A
answered that
thing.
Here we go again.
Yeah, we already answered that. We already answered that a little
Oh
bit.
wait, whoa.
Unless-
We didn't say what Nika said about Lucan last time, because I told her that
right.
she had pointy ears.
What did she say about you? Does anyone remember? I think she said something about you, like that you were kind of like a little bit dangerous, a little bit kind of. You're kind of a
She
criminal.
thought you
but not
were a
bad.
hunk.
I don't remember exactly. That was what stream was that? Episode 6, 7, 7? I forget which exactly.
One of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them now.
Dangerous.
Mad,
Here's a
bad,
question,
dangerous to know.
I guess another question for you, Zillion. How did you illustrate how the fight will go and make it so intense? I guess kind of like what was the process of creating a fight scene?
Pretty straightforward. Just testing out what works. The approach wasn't like extremely planned out. Mostly just focusing on having the songs displayed
I was about
correctly.
to say, yeah, that was the only for that fight. The only thing we really planned out was kind of, okay, there's gonna be a little fight, then there's gonna be a little dialogue. They need to say these lines, a little bit of fight, and then we mapped out which songs get used when, and that was a fun. Do you want to talk about some of the other random song ideas we had? Because we had the prime songs available, so we had pretty much every song at our disposal other than for the red ones, and we were talking about these different ideas we had. We were gonna have like this illusionary one where you like
Oh, yeah.
Like, uses the green one to spawn like an illusion of like a dragon or something that fights for a bit. We had some like we had some weird ideas. We had the one.
A lot of them.
Yeah, some pretty cool stuff, but we got what we got. Yeah, some pretty cool ones.
Turned out cool.
Oh, we have a question here from Badger the Bard. Asks,
Wait a second.
How does that work?
Well, the question was, were there any characters who were cut from Songs of War's development, which I thought was pretty cool.
I only think of a few, and that was a few of the Ardoni at the council. Initially, there was a few more Ardoni there. We wanted to have like all the different clans being represented, but every voice actress was just a whole other person to cast, go through the process. So we kind of cut it down. We had a lot of them just sitting there quietly, and then for 2 of them, we turned them into twins, so we just used the same voice actor.
Hashtag problem solving.
That there was like anything from the future seasons either.
They got cut.
That was like.
Yeah.
No one prominent anyway.
No, luckily we did like the story very carefully before even starting writing or anything, so we knew the story, and we were happy with the story, and then we wrote it, so there wasn't much. We didn't really like change much or anything.
If anything, the potential for more characters to be cut is more likely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more going forward. Oh, here's a
Yeah, because the characters were whittled down through season 1, like Jalkar and Grim. They're gone by the end.
Grim's still around.
Yeah, still.
He's hanging out somewhere.
He's on pillars
crying because he's lost to Abigail.
He's taking a well-deserved vacation.
Here's a question kind of to all voice actors. I didn't exactly catch the question, but they're asking a little bit about the casting and how the casting went. If anyone wants to kind of comment on kind of how the casting process happened, how you found it.
I remember the casting very clearly because it was the Songs of War was the first thing I auditioned for on Casting Call Club back in 2017, and I auditioned on every round of auditioning for everybody.
Same.
Oh, I found it on an external. I think people were posting about it on Twitter, and it was on the external site, so not Cast and Call. But I think it was your like actual post on your own website.
Oh, the website one. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the website one. But I just sent in. I was like, I don't have time to record any lines right now. I'm at uni, so I just sent in my demo reel, and I got it. Yay!
Yeah, I think
pro skills.
Yeah, my experience was slightly different because I kind of go back like a couple years to when David was doing Rise of the Spartans director's cut, and I went in for Firelight, and I got to do that whole experience. And then I did the Project Containment, and I was Adam. And so by the time Songs of War came along, David was like, hey, I've got this cool thing, and he kind of sent me the link. It was like, hey, just, audition for some of the characters. And but that was really cool because I feel like I've had the pleasure of working with David now on. This is like the 3rd project now.
Nice. Thomas, do you mind timing out that person who's been spamming over and over and over and over?
I think mine was like, I just found it on Casting Call Club. It's like when I was first starting out voice acting. And I was like, I don't know if I should audition. I think I auditioned for like Sen, Lucan, Jalkar, maybe like a couple of other characters.
Oh, Thomas Jalkar.
Huh?
He's too nice.
I'm too pure. And then I remember I was eating breakfast and I got the message that David sent me that I got cast as Sen. And I was
Where were you when you were cast for Songs of War? I was at home eating breakfast.
In bed. The phone rang.
Yeah.
And I think I did apply also on the website too, because I think there was, maybe I read it wrong. I don't know. It's probably possible, but I think it said like, also send in an email and like why you want to play each character that you.
Yeah. So there were initially 3. There's a post on our website. There's the post on Voice Acting Alliance. I think it's Voice Acting Club. It's a kind of forum website. And then there's Casting Call Club. Some people auditioned in like one. Some people did multiple. Alyssa, you were the Casting Call Club.
I only did it through CCC, yeah.
I think, you, Carl, and Mina, I think you 3 were ones where we heard initially, and we're like, yep, that's it. And Tom, actually, as well. We heard those, and just...
I was saying, I did on CCC, but that was round 2. Round 1, I did the website, though.
Okay. Oh, you didn't make it in round. Oh, that's right. The Necromancer, duh.
Yeah.
Keep forgetting.
Oh,
you-
that's right. Yeah. The minor role, and
Yeah,
then
first you played
round two. Round two is Lucan on Casting Call Club for the re-auditions.
Oh, here's a question for we've asked this a few times last time, but for the new voice actors who haven't been in the previous streams, who's your favorite Songs of War character?
We all know the meme, and I've only got one answer to this.
Swagger, swagger, swagger. or is it peas? Go ahead.
Honestly, I really love Igneous.
Yeah, Igneous is
What was it? One more time?
Igneous.
Igneous. Ugh.
I was saying for the voice actors who weren't here before.
I know. Just comment.
Igneous is
There,
the
there.
sweetheart of the series. He's always so positive and kind.
Hey, Agnes, go to this place. Yeah, I'm leaving. Wait, let's tell you how to get there.
Igneous was a really great surprise, honestly. I mean, at the same time, I kind of get Thalias's mindset. It was like, don't make eye contact with them. They'll talk to you to death.
They probably will. They probably will.
Well, Igneous would. I don't know about the other Magnorites. We haven't met
that's
them.
true.
Mina, how about you?
Oh, it's Sen, of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
Home after all.
Hello.
There's no contest. It's just Sen. I mean, I like a guy who can give me a big pointy stick. It's
Okay.
Whoa! Whoa! We talked about this before.
That's PJ!
Give me a spear!
The literal spear to kill people with.
Literally did not make the connection.
I'm gonna end you with this. That's now that I can't unsee this. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh no!
What have you done?
I'm not gonna.
You've ruined the show.
This is just too good.
Yeah.
This is great.
So, what other questions came in?
Let's forget about that. Let's forget about that.
Well, in the same spirit as that, for the new members who haven't been on stream before, describe your character in 3 words.
Oh.
Ooh.
So hard.
I've got one.
All right.
Drink or out.
Simple, straightforward.
It gets to the point.
It's
Yes.
perfect.
Actually, now I can say something about Gallius. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see. What can I say
Oh,
about
Carl
Gallius?
gets 2.
Blacksmithing, books, and planning.
Those are 4 words.
What's it?
So, and.
Take out the ass.
I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm going home. Goodbye, everyone.
Wait, it can be rectified if you use 2 for Thalias.
No, we've covered Thalias very well, thoroughly. Even. We've had
Covered him
weeks
in
and
dirt when you
weeks
buried
and
him.
weeks too. Somebody go next. Somebody else.
Who else hasn't done it?
Alyssa and Mina.
Okay.
Do you have a character in 3 words?
Screw Mr. Finch.
Nice.
PG.
I mean, what? Sorry.
Mr. Finch is being destroyed.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
But did you get the
Describe your
shades?
character in 3 words.
My character?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you love Sen?
Ambitious, fierce, and spunky.
Nice.
Spunky.
Ooh.
Hey, if we were gonna roast Carl for this, that was 4 words.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
and.
yeah. Yeah, you got another and in there.
My
Need
bad.
equality on this.
That's not the worst thing I've said today, so we're all right.
True, true.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so rude. Oh no.
How long did it take to animate season 1? I guess kind of questions for the animators. How long did it take you guys?
Well, we started in January 2019, and we went throughout entire 2019 pretty much.
Was it early January to
January?
Yes,
around there.
It was very close to the beginning of January, and then you guys mostly finished up in like August, October-ish time, except for
I
Zillion.
finished in June or something.
Yeah, Zillion was still working into like December. You finished like right after. Weren't you working like on Christmas animating that scene? Or right around it?
No breaks for family.
I had a lot of fun.
It's like Christmas Day, and you're like, oh, check out this GIF of Death Singer and Tide Singer fighting.
Yeah.
This Christmas gift.
Someone again's
Someone
asking.
said, are there any survivors from Sen's village?
Oh, we haven't seen it
Sen.
yet.
Yeah. Sen's a survivor.
And Timber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Timber and
Timber's
Sen survived.
I forget the horse.
Oh,
Yeah, everyone forgets my horse. I haven't
Timber's
forgot my
been through a
horse.
lot.
Everyone's like, who's gonna watch Sen now? Timber will watch Sen.
Timber
Everyone's
did
like,
it,
who's Timber?
Oh, here's a good question. Now that
The
the
best horse ever.
now that the whole the season 1's done, what's everyone's favorite scene? We kind of did we kind of answer that before?
Finals.
Nothing can
We
beat
kind of half
Jumpy
answered
Boy.
it before.
I love the scene. I mean, technically fight scene, but we kind of covered that because there's some pretty epic fight scenes. But I really like in the last episode the scene with Igneous and Sen looking at the floating, or the seemingly floating islands. Because in the script, I'm supposed to look at it, and Tom's supposed to look at it. We're supposed to be like, ah. So, that was fun to do. But then actually watching it, I was like, oh, yeah, that is pretty great.
Wish I had the visuals there at the time and voicing.
No, not at all. But it was so cool to finally.
I think I remember you describing what Ataraxia was like. It was like, there's gonna be floating islands.
It'll be really pretty, just trust me.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were right.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jackson, like, it just makes you realize just how awesome it was, like, something they were looking.
Oh, yeah,
Here's
absolutely.
a funny little slight story that I don't know if you guys had a chance to see the voice bloopers yet. Those just came out a few hours ago. Some of the Jackson, some of yours in that scene were like when you were in Ataraxia, you had a little line where you're like, oh, I guess it's Ataraxia. It's a bit smaller, blah, blah, blah. And some of your improv started getting very like you're almost asking Sen questions. You're like, it's great, right? Yeah? Huh? And I was like, Jackson, he doesn't have any lines here. I can't put anything here. I can't use this.
Oh my god.
You've left the building. You're on your own. It's like, bye.
I was watching it and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about
You're
that.
like, this is right? Huh? And I'm like,
I get the feeling that if a group recording session was set up, then the episodes would be twice
that would have
as
been
long.
pretty cool, actually. That would have been because then you could have done the improv, and then Tom could have been like, "Huh? What?"
Yeah.
We just would have been
What are
laughing
you
though.
talking about?
A couple of my favorite scenes after the fact, I gotta say, Sen meeting Igneous. It really was a breath of fresh air, especially it's after, well, one, Thalia's dying, his village being gone, and it really sparked that something fresh to go on afterward.
Yeah,
I agree. It was nice. I like I think my favorite overall scene was definitely the Death Singer fight. I think that my favorite scene that I'm in, I really like the Sen and Rhea scenes. I mean, I think it's touching. It was like the first time you see them, kind of establishes their characters.
I've heard a lot of people say they really liked the Sen and Thalia's on the balcony scene, where you kind of learn more about like.
I
Sen's
really
past and
liked
stuff.
that, actually.
That was a
some-
sleeper, that one.
Really good.
yeah, that was some great backstory.
Really nice.
And Carl does
the
such a good
wheeling
job in that
songs
scene.
just had a bad effect on my kidneys, Sen.
I have to pee through a tube.
I get constant kidney stones.
Oh, we just got a new voice actor joining us. Hedonistic, welcome to the stream.
Hey,
Hello, welcome.
Welcome.
Why don't you
Yes, noticed it.
quickly introduce yourself and who you played?
I'm a hedonistic actor and I played, what was the name? Sideria Mendoris, I would guess. He was in the episode 9 that let's not go to war guy.
Yeah, he was the cautious one. He was the cautious one.
That was another scene I liked.
That was
It was just one seeing the Ardoni, like conglomerated around this panel. And the second bit I loved about that scene was I found out that one of my buddies, Kevin Liberty, was another voice in there.
Hey,
nice.
Yeah,
that was a cool scene.
he and I, well, we've been in a bunch of classes together. It's like it's nice to see him doing other stuff.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cute and wholesome. I love it.
Oh.
Yeah, everyone in that scene was definitely just glowing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Literally.
Brave.
I'm pretty fond of the Northwind scene because it was one of the first scenes I saw fully animated with music. And seeing it come to life versus the script was a really special moment.
It's also one of the very first actually like scenes of the series that's not like a narrated bit. The first time seeing characters talk.
Big Skyrim vibes.
Yeah.
When it was
Yeah,
showing the walls of time.
For me, I think the Baby Luna is one of my favorites. I'm big on the Ender stuff and Nether stuff. We didn't get any Nether this season. That's one thing people kept wondering about. And End and Nether stuff is definitely some of my favorite stuff of the whole series.
Ooh.
And Baby Luna's just too cute. Question for Hogtown Bartender. What do you think of Biggerton Bartender?
That's a rivalry.
Alright, so listen, okay, so my I don't like him a lot, but I was actually talking to him the other day. I was saying, like, this big rock guy, like this rock dude, he's gray, he had glowy parts on him, I don't know, but like, he comes in, he's like crying or something, oh, help me. I'm straight up with this guy. I'm like, we don't sell that here. I don't know what you're looking for. It doesn't matter what it is. I know you're not looking for beer. You look like you're like a 12-year-old rock monster or something. We don't sell whatever you're looking for here. Okay, so you can buy a drink or get it.
Rock monster.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. That's a whole lot of emotion there.
So for voice actors who haven't answered this before, or even those who have and you want to change your answer, what do you like most about your character? So far, I guess.
I like the part where he tells Sam to buy a drink.
Me too,
Oh my
man.
god, I'm dying over here. Oh my gosh. Hogtown wins.
I really like Gallius's introduction because it's just because of that difference and the added direction we had to give to it to really convey the emotions he feels after learning that the brother I never talk about is dead. I'm the last one.
And because the animation was, of course, really well done. Of
yeah,
course.
that's good.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
well, yeah, it complemented it very well.
That was Luke's scene.
All around.
Your brother died. I'm really sorry about that. That sucks. You want beer?
You don't need that. I feel a little strange that Dallin never said, "Hey, we're going to see my brother," or "You should." He's embarrassed of him.
I just know he's there. That's it. That's it. I won't speak of him.
He
I
can't
never talk about my brother. I never said, "Oh, my brother, he's so awesome in his boring little shop," and it's no sense. I mean, maybe I would have popped a semi if I saw his arsenal.
Yeah,
However,
and we find out that he's making like weapons of mass destruction.
Adventure
exactly. Maybe I'd changed my tune and been sorry for however many years I did not see or talk about him. But then that'd be admitting defeat.
Okay, I guess I'll go. Definitely something about Lucan that was cool is he is obviously he's kind of like the Han Solo archetype where he's a thief. He's kind of like that roguish type of dude who gets into trouble, but what's cool about Lucan is I guess he's maybe he's got some layers in terms of like, yeah, he's a thief. He's done probably not some good things in the past, but it's cool saying that he's got this anxious side of him, and he's like, I guess, still learning about himself through the journey right now, being in places where he didn't think he was gonna end up being, but now he's ending up fighting this battle. I guess it's like, it's cool. I don't know. He's kind of layered, and we just scratched the surface, I guess.
Dude's also on the verge of dating an anime cat girl. I mean, come on, he's a legend.
For sure.
It is everything right and wrong with furries.
Oh my gosh.
Alyssa, Hedonistic, or Mina, you guys anything about like the characters you liked? Or the character you played?
I like Rhea because she can be sweet, but she's also a little rebel, and that's a lot of fun. And that's all I'm gonna say for now, because we haven't really seen much of her. I don't know if we will, though. We'll see.
It was rather unclear at the end of episode 6. Is he still alive or not?
It's an open, like I keep saying, it's an open-ended sentence. I don't know.
I don't-
You don't know. We'll find out, I guess. I don't know.
I'm not even sure if my character is still alive or not.
Well, at least he didn't go to war, so he's probably still hanging
That's
around.
true.
Probably alright.
Yeah. He's probably chilling in Midoriya.
Yeah, Siderian and Doris. I mean, I guess I can understand him. Not going to war is a rather sensible attitude. I mean, better to be a live chicken than a dead lion, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Amen.
Alyssa, you got what's your favorite bit of
Yeah,
Abigail?
I don't know. It's not one particular thing, I guess, about Abigail that I really enjoyed, but it's just seeing her go from like innocent farmer to like killing Jalkar was like the highlight
Spicy.
of her character. Yeah, spicy, exactly.
Spicy.
I don't know. I love seeing character arcs that go through like being super innocent and super like unknowing about the world and just like being a badass near like the end of like their first initial arc. I love that about Abigail.
That was another scene that was great to see reactions to, because some people
Oh,
were
yeah.
just absolutely cheering on, like, yes, get him, and other people were just so shocked, like, oh my god, she killed Jalkar.
Killed him.
Jalkar ended up being quite likable as the series was coming out, rather than, because he was supposed to be like the contrast to Grim, really mean, but the dynamic they had ended up being some people's favorites. So some people were even really sad about Jalkar dying, even after he killed Sam. Some people felt like he didn't deserve it. And...
Once you kill,
I know for a fact after Jalkar killed Sam, that if Quinn, I mean, I'm pretty sure Quinn knew about it, but Quinn would be devastated. because I know for a fact he is a purebred dog lover.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what his sessions were like, but and I wouldn't say him. Yeah, probably. I've seen him. He's a nice white floofer.
Here's a question for people. What are some of your favorite bloopers? What are some of your favorite blooper moments?
Peas.
Everyone's all about the peas. I didn't expect the peas to be such a big deal. Honestly, it's like
I knew it would.
And how could the peas not be a big deal?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a little Orson Welles improv here. No problem. No big deal. No, nothing. It blew up. It blew up big. It's on T-shirts, and I mean, there's so many. I mean, I love them all. Everybody's as well. It's keep listening, and there's more, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I love the hello there.
Oh yeah, got that in there. Hello there.
Seeing you guys put the Obi-Wan face on it, that was hysterical.
Oh, the minigun thing. That was like done. I was like done. I'm thinking back to Aliens, where it's like, get away from her, you beep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what was said during the farm machine thing. Was it you who said something, or was it just the heavy song that was playing there?
It was the heavy song. It was the "We are the Knights of Auditioning." Yes. To use the ability. It's just the
Carl's like a
line, it's
legitimately
just-
talented like metal singer.
People say I've actually
don't know
tried
that.
singing with a band once before. It didn't turn out well, honestly.
Oh, that's too bad.
But no. Yeah, like with the I don't know. Sometimes I mumble. Sometimes things are said very clearly, and other times it's whatever.
Yeah. The problem I have with most heavy songs that the lyrics often get buried by the instruments.
Yeah. Well, it's just the line that Thalia says to Sen and Rhea when he's handing them, you should definitely not say anything when I give you these. Well, showing off the songs. It was just like, these are songs. To deny their usage is to deny the very thing that makes us Ardoni. It's just said very metal.
Ardoni.
Ardoni! Yes.
I got a... Someone's asking, Alyssa, have you ever harvested sugarcane in real life?
No, I have not.
Never harvested a sugarcane.
Wait, you've never harvested sugarcane? Really?
This upstart.
That's so lame.
So that means you still haven't got that sugar cane.
Yeah, you've never gotten it.
Nope.
No wonder he's always mad.
Yep.
400 feet tall.
Question
by now.
for voice actors: what's it like seeing fan art of the characters you voiced?
Surreal.
Oh, keep it coming.
No.
Create more. Especially, honestly, I'll say this: it needs more Sen. I would love to see more Sen.
Rhea.
More
That's really
Rhea
good Sen
too.
one.
Yes, maybe some more
Yeah.
Osivian.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was one of my favorite bloopers. Osivian comes out of the flames like, Thalius, I told you, like, come out of the flames.
I completely lost it at that
like
point.
that immediately is like, Thalius, you really done goof.
No, but the fan art is really so cool. I mean, I've never had someone do fan art of someone I've voiced before, so it's and it's so good too.
Yeah.
Like all the ones I've seen, at least, are just so talented, and it's awesome. You guys are great.
Yeah, having fan art is cool, but did you make a meme out of a one-line character? I didn't think so.
We need some.
Thank you for all your wonderful art.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yes, thank you guys.
Yeah, I need a Hogtown bartender fan art, and a master Siderian fan art.
Doing a council fan art would be sick.
Our Donut Council would be pretty cool. All the glowing lights.
Oh yeah.
Someone keeps asking about Abigail naming the dragon. Dragon's called Luna. I mentioned that behind the scenes. It was something that actually we had a line where she said the name there, but it just felt kind of weird, out of place. So we cut the line. It's a season 2 thing.
Isn't Ardoni dead before the lights go out or after?
During.
I guess. They're alive when the lights are on, and they're dead when the lights are off.
Yeah. Right when they get to 50% opacity, then they die. What other questions coming through? What was that? Was that just like Badger? It's like a...
Oh, it's for Carl. It's a funny fan art.
Oh, okay.
One question is, if you had the role of another mainstream character in the series, which character would it be? From Kenneth Huang?
That's interesting.
So another Songs of War character? Is that what they're asking?
Yeah.
We could check my fossil and see which other characters I audition.
Oh yes. Yeah, most of you... Did everyone here voice for multiple? Or sorry, audition for multiple?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I auditioned for all the characters I didn't get because Hogtown Bartender, I don't think I auditioned for him actually. That was
Honestly,
awkward.
I think Valius was the only one I went for. It was just the one that
Oh, really?
resonated with me. I think so. I may be wrong, but
It's possible. That's possible.
everyone keeps asking who the voice actor for Grimm was. I'll tell you what, I wish I was.
Yeah, that's pretty
Best
good.
job ever.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I also did. Yeah, I also did audition for Yara.
I think Jackson said that he auditioned for all the females too.
I did. That's correct.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, that
Luke
didn't
and
fly.
Soliman
Respect.
found the icon.
Jackson, give us your best Rhea impression.
Do
Rhea
it.
impression? Okay. Oh, thanks for the spear. That's right. There you go, guys. That's what you missed out
At least
on.
she didn't say she gives good spear. No, wait, I'm done.
What's
going on? I'm going away. I'm going away now.
To go back to the original question, I would say for me it would be Sen, because I think for Sen I get major Takua vibes from Mask of Light from
Oh
him.
yeah.
And
Sound kind of like Takua.
so I just gravitate towards just wanting to watch him and see where he goes. So I would say Sen for me.
Quick interjection. That was a Bionicle reference adding, and then I'm getting a loading.
Yep, it's,
Reconnecting successful. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, there it goes.
Is it back up? Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
The stream might have lost us for just a moment. We had I've
still
never seen
here.
that warning before.
Hmm?
Okay, I think we're good. Let us know in chat if you can still hear us. I think you might have missed us for just a moment. Sorry. Continue. I was just talking about Bionicle. You said Bionicle, so I got excited.
Bionicle.
Yeah, I know.
I
Well,
love
I was just
Bionicle,
saying,
man.
I'm so glad you said that, because I thought maybe I was imagining things. It's like, oh, when they die, their light goes out. That's kind of like the when
like-
their little.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Bionicle.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I thought never mind. All right. Thank you, David. I appreciate that.
I'm so happy that anybody remembers Bionicle like I
yeah.
do.
I had almost
grew up
every single
on
Matt
that.
Newey one.
Oh yes.
Of Bionicle.
My younger brother.
Never watched them.
They're pretty good. I watched them probably once.
Apparently,
Many
there's
times.
some lore in them too.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Some about Makatoas or something.
Christopher David. A lot of these questions are words we've already asked. People are asking how long it took to animate season 1. We kind of went over that.
It took 84 years.
Not like 84 years.
Yeah.
Actually, Nerdy Nom Nom, here's one for you. Will there be any character development for the Hawktown bartender?
Well, you see, when I was 5, my father left.
Oh my god.
Sorry, buddy. Oh my goodness.
Hawktown Bartender, the spin-off.
If the Hogtown bartender could be like the Cabbage Man in The Last Airbender, that would make me happier than anything in the world.
We can arrange that.
It just pops up.
Someone write fanfiction.
Yes.
Jackson, have you had a chance to see the voice bloopers?
Yes, I have.
Someone asked you if you remember how you reacted to when I had the Sen blank out where I thought Sen's name was wrong.
Yes.
And how you felt
Well,
about that.
Oh god, I saw that in the bloopers.
I mean, these were long sessions, you know. They were a lot of fun, but I just remember we were just on a bout. I mean, that was towards the end of season 1 with my lines. It was just past the halfway point, and I was recording the Sen, which was taking a little bit longer than I thought it would take, because we were having a hard time like getting the Sens right, and then I finally did it, and there's a pause. And Dave said, "Why are you saying Sen?" Because then because I started freaking out. I was like, "Oh gosh, have I been pronouncing his name wrong for episodes now? First it was Ardeny, and now it's Sen." And then he was like, "No, wait, is it Sen?" I said, "Well, I think it's Sen." He was like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot that I wrote Sen. I thought it was pronounced something else." It was amazing.
How else do you pronounce it?
Oh my gosh. No, it was just
All
like
right,
he just
stop. We have to go back. We have to go back. The whole
well, that's what I was like.
season
I was
one.
like, I hope he
All of
didn't
it.
get it wrong, because we're gonna have to do a lot of records. But it was just because, I mean, you just look at the people in this chat alone. This isn't even all your voice actors, and we're all saying Sen, and all of us say it with our own sort of take on it. And so I can imagine that hearing it for the 500th time, you're probably like, "Now wait a minute." I don't know if that sounds like how I originally wrote it.
It's pronounced scene. It's fancy. Get it right.
Or as Carl said, Sean.
See?
Sean.
Sean.
Climb up, Sean.
Sen.
We actually
Sven. It's
Sven.
it's Nordic. It's Sven.
Sen.
We actually looked at it. We have this problem so much when we're animating. We hear the words over and over and over as we keep scrubbing back and forth, and we keep hearing the words.
Sounds so fake,
And
right?
it's called semantic satiation. When you hear a word over and over, and it no longer sounds like a word. And I think that's just what was happening because we were
There's
being
a
satiated to the semantics of the word sen. And I kept
There's
hearing
a
this.
word for it?
It's a shorter form of Senate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then suddenly sen just no longer seemed right. But it was. We're good, and we continued. We're all good. What other questions?
Oh wait, his name was Sean. All right, call Carl, everybody. Call Mina. We gotta re-record everything.
No.
That's like when you take a test in school and you know you're getting the questions right, but every answer is the same. Like
Maybe you can. Maybe you
The
can make
correct
it a running
answer
gag
is C
season 2.
on all of them.
Another question coming through. Oh, after Infinity, will there be a behind-the-scenes for music production in FL Studio?
Not in FL Studio, but there will be a music featurette at some point. I'm writing
Yeah,
stuff down.
there's a few featurettes we definitely want to do. Although that one sounded more like a little technical one. For the featurettes, there would probably be more like behind the scenes, a little more overview. It sounded like they wanted a little more of like a very technical like process.
I'm gonna do like a half featurette, half tutorial thing on my channel at some point.
Yeah. I'll be doing one on the animation side on like how like the scenes got started, how they did the layout, how we had the animators come in, how we did the faces and the lighting and the effects, and go through the whole process on that at one point as well.
Very cool.
There's a question about dubbing, like will we dub the series? I don't think there's any plans for that. Initially in casting, I found a French voice actor that was perfect for Thalius, and I was trying to push to David to have French dubbing, but it didn't happen.
That's my baby.
So better dub the whole series.
I'm open for
In
Finnish dubbing.
I mean, we could try a French accent if you want to for the next
What is that accent?
little
Come
way.
on. Badger.
Oui.
Badger.
See, when you said dubbing, I did not think of alternate languages. I thought, oh
They
yeah,
call
we
him
should do an
the-
abridged
no,
series.
let's start over with the generation. They call him Yassinger.
Thalius becoming canon?
Thalius.
Oh my god!
And then Sen will just be son. How would they say that? They wouldn't say Sen.
After Infinity, why do you make such good music?
Yeah.
Why do you
Yeah.
make such good
Why do I-
music?
why do I bother?
I don't know.
What is your motivation to make
Why,
good
why didn't we
music?
just use SoundCloud? We could just got.
Why didn't we just use SoundCloud? That's a good one.
Could just got it online or use free sound.
Free sound. I did use free sound a ton.
We use free sound a lot, yeah. Does Gallius have a favorite vegetable?
Oh, it's never really been
Carrots.
specified. It really, I mean, not throughout what we've done past this or before. It's, I mean, maybe he doesn't eat veggies. Maybe he likes those taquitos that come out of. I forget the brand name. It's like two different brand names. I like.
El Monterey is the best taquito.
That is it. You win. You get 5 years of El Monterey.
Yes.
but you get the Southwestern mixed taquitos.
Yes, I like those.
Excellent. And we're swapping in guacamole to go
Oh,
to
I
the
can't.
side.
I'm allergic to avocado.
Oh
I'm
no.
sorry,
Avocado, more like avocado. No.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh my
I'm
God,
divorcing
no.
all of you.
I can't help
Love
but I'm allergic
avocado.
to.
Avocado is the best. It's the best fruit, veggie.
Yeah, just rub it in.
I'm gonna.
Yes, I'll rub that avocado in. I'll rub it in so hard with pico de
okay.
gallo.
Oh, we got Hardcon fan art as the live stream was going. Look at that. Can I like pull it up on
Nice.
My god, that was quick.
I might be able
Actually,
to,
this hometown
Gallius
bartender
loves
fan art.
avocado.
There we go. Put a
Bartender.
on the screen for a second. Got a Hardcon bartender fan art.
I love
Finally.
it.
Thank you.
Is that a baked potato? to the left.
It's a cake and an apple. Oh David, you cannot have some pizza.
That's so cute.
That is absolutely the best thing ever.
Nice found. That was fast. Mad
We don't
skills.
sell pizza here.
We only sell beer. Nothing else.
All right, get a
Will
drink.
we do another trailer if there's season 2? Oh, absolutely.
Well, that's how you know
Yeah.
the season 2 is near. It's season
Because
2
of
season.
the trailer.
Just drop it the whole season like midnight, like a Beyonce album.
Oh my god.
I mean, he's already got it rented, so.
I mean, granted, throughout the quarantine, why not drop it now?
Here's a question that got interesting kind of story thing. Why did we change the name from Tide Singer to Songs of War? That goes way back. Thomas will probably start getting giddy because he heard Tide Singer. And yeah, there you go. Tide Singer was only a code name. I don't know. Way back, Tide Singer was a code name. That was never really going to be the full name. That is always code name Tide Singer, and then Songs of War is just what it became. And then a question to Dan: which contact library did you use the most?
We got that question.
Did we?
I would have to say cinematic strings too. The most normal answer.
Swish right now. It's asking how did Gallius know about the Ender Dragon baby being born, and all I can say is, well, Gallius is very, very well equipped to gather information very quickly.
Apart from his own brother.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually...
Apart from his own brother, yes.
I mean, okay, what
News
happens...
travels at different speeds.
Yeah, well, I mean, get this, because what happened... Think about this, really. Like, anything could have happened in that cutscene. Any distance of time or gap that's shrunken down can happen. Anything that can and will.
Yeah.
Well,
So once you have a scene transition, anything is possible.
You're right. That's like in any anime when like the main character is about to get beaten, and then they have this like they examine their whole life over the course of like an episode, and it's like that. There's that time jump.
I remember episode 1.
Or a montage.
I got an answer that kind of answers that, and another question.
To the next.
We have some people that are grew up in the wrong era and think Fortnite is only the name of a game and nothing else.
Oh god.
If you remember,
Passing of time.
We're attacking the Voltaris in Fortnite.
They're attacking them in Fortnite. They're going to play Fortnite with the Voltaris. No. So Zulius says that they're going to be attacking in a Fortnite, and then when Gauss is giving his montage, they're already at the base of Mount Velgrin. So you can actually tell about 2 weeks has passed since that point. Also, a fun little addition to that as to how we actually knew, we were going to have messenger birds in season 1. We mentioned them a little bit. It was episode 8 when Alec comes out and he's like, messenger bird flew in or something. And we were going to have messenger birds in season 1 because Gallius has a bunch of messenger birds, which is how he gets his information. But we didn't know what we wanted them to look like. And because none of them speak in season 1, we're like, we'll just hold it off for now. So that little bit got cut. There's going to be a bit where like the egg hatches and there's going to be like a messenger bird watching it, like flies off, but got cut. So that is your answer.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, and if you can answer this, great. If not, so when they, when they saw the portal, the Tide Singer and the Death Singer fighting, was that like back in time, or was it like they were just fighting so hard they got sent to another dimension?
I saw it back in time. It was supposed to be, if you look it's kind of hard to see, but it was the exact same mountaintop. Like they're just looking at it in the past. Like they were there and it was all snowy in the future and something, and then the past. It was the same mountaintop, just in the past. So they'd only been fighting, just moments ago.
I kind of figured that. It's just been boiling my head at the same time. Because it's like, it's happening as it's happening. But when it's happening, because it did happen, that they're like, we couldn't find their bodies. We just know that's where the last battle was.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah, I
kind of liked
time
the
travel
theory
is
that
confirmed to be everything's destined to happen, not you can change it in Songs of War.
Yeah, Songs of War.
That's the time travel system.
Thomas, what were you saying?
I kind of like the theory that they were like trapped in an alternate dimension for like hundreds of years. They were just fighting hundreds of years.
No one ever won.
Yeah. So when Sam and I were discussing that scene, I can talk a little bit about that now. What we went through so many different ideas as to how that little process was going to happen, and one of those ideas was that like, they couldn't defeat the Death Singer, so the Tide Singer opened like a portal to some hidden dimension, and together they fought for 200 years, and now he's finally returning. And it was a cool idea, but it was I did make that mistake. It was ridiculous, and it
One of the
solved
other ideas.
other problems.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say those kind of things caused other problems.
The other idea that it almost became was the other Ardoni were gonna intentionally send the Death Singer through a portal in time, but then we realized, hang on, that's exactly Skyrim's plot.
And then also if we do
With,
that,
Alduin.
then all the good Ardoni would know he's returning, and then that could take out the surprise. So we had
Yeah,
that.
that's also just the reverse thing of Samurai Jack as well.
Everything's been done.
Yeah,
I
can't
like
do
the
anything
idea
original
that-
anymore.
I know.
Everything's already
That was one of those, we got so stuck in it, but eventually we were like, well, we just need something, and it's not really about the actual process, it's about the outcome, and it works.
I like the idea that it was time travel. You know, like everyone said, oh, we don't know where they went, we don't know who killed who, but we found their songs. It's like, okay, you found their songs and you thought they died because that's what happens when Ardoni die.
Yeah.
But it's really because, you know, Tidesinger got punted off a mountain, and Death Singer walked through a door.
Yeah, so we had to have the portal like intentionally force their songs to drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. I thought that was a nice touch.
It was cool, but it was the one thing we had to just like, let's just throw that in there to make this work, otherwise nothing works.
But it made it work really well, and it kind of just it just tied everything together, and it explains, it ties back into like what happens to the Ardoni when they die and why but no one knew who killed who or what happened to their bodies. I thought it was cool.
Also, I think it's an effective reveal because it's talked about with such certainty that they are dead and they did die before.
Yeah, it was that was the best way to do it.
Yeah, well, what was interesting is we kind of posed it not as like, oh, we don't really know if they died. It became more of, they died, but we don't know who killed who, and that was kind of the mystery. So then a lot of theories were saying that someone else came and killed him. People were mostly just thinking like, oh, Herobrine showed up, killed him or something. But no, it was that they both. And then actually, someone else, I saw scrolling up in the chat a moment ago, someone was saying, well, if the Death Singer went through and his songs were left behind, but then it said they found both Tidesinger and Death Singer's songs, then you can potentially guess what's going to happen next.
Ooh. So that
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh,
because the ending stinger showed that Tidesinger got
on
the cliff.
Yep, yeah,
Then
if you
why didn't he take the Prime songs if they were still there?
Well, even if he did, they would have gotten ripped off him again. Because he's gonna go through the portal and he'll.
Well, I mean, I think what he said, he could have just not gone through.
Oh,
the
not
portal,
gone through.
Took the Prime songs and hit them.
We don't know before
But then I
season
guess
2
like
begins.
whoever goes up there and finds them anyway, they would have done the same thing the Tidesinger did.
Yeah,
anyway.
the way I see it was, I don't think Tidesinger knew the portal was like a time thing, so he probably just got up on that cliff and went and chased after the Death Singer, and I was like, wait, what?
He also mentioned the Prime songs were never something he himself desired.
Yeah, he wouldn't have
And
used them anyway.
He wouldn't want to wield.
He was after the Death Singer there. What other questions we have for all the people here? We got a lot of people here. If anyone has any questions directed towards any of the voice actors, animators.
I have a question.
Sure.
If Magnerites love lava, would Obsidian be like jerky?
Right.
Yes, it would. Very great question.
Oh, you think Magnerites can eat obsidian like very slowly and carefully?
Yeah, I think they would eat. I think to them, Obsidian would be like a jawbreaker. Like you just, you know.
I love when Ignis just
Like the ones from Ed, Edd, and Eddy.
Exactly.
Or that movie, Jawbreaker, back in the 90s. Anybody? Anybody?
That was before I was born.
You know, back when they were the size of a small, not a baby's hand, but maybe like a 10-year-old's hand. Like if they made a fist, like that's the size the Jawbreaker would be.
Yeah. Yeah, so like that, yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Tom was saying he enjoyed you jumping in the lava pit.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
Like, oh god, lava.
That was perfect. You know, we all it's like it's what fuels them. It's what keeps me going.
That was funny.
I lava it a lot.
I'd like to change my answer to the favorite character question. Ignis is no longer my favorite.
Mission to ban.
You know what? That's fair. That is absolutely fair.
How do we keep up to date on Songs of War info? There's a donation just came through.
That's a good question.
Well, clearly there's a whole Discord community that converses. Anything official, of course, we get through email or we. David.
I think they're asking like how they I think they're wondering how they keep following, how they can follow it. I think that's what the question was.
Discord is the best place for Songs of War memes and updates.
Discord, YouTube. I mean, YouTube's going to be a little slow a bit, only for the sake of whatever's uploaded. But if you want something more to appease your appetite, get the Discord. Get to the community. There's a link somewhere down there. Down there in your link.
That's where the links are.
Do it. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is the community channel. If you're not subscribed to the community channel, that's where we post a lot of kind of just little side things and bonus things for things about like waiting for voice acting or world releases. A lot of things will be on that channel if you type in Black Plasma Community. Well, wait, we're streaming there right now. This channel.
Of course, if they don't subscribe to the community channel,
this is the
how
channel
are they
that
watching this?
This is the channel that you can get a lot of kind of bonus stuff. The very, very main things will be on the main channel if it's like the trailer. But the Discord's probably one of the best ways to just kind of hang on the Discord. You can even mute a lot of the Discord if you just want to like just follow the posts and updates and stuff. I saw a really good question.
Yeah, because there's the announcements section of the Discord if you just want news.
Someone had a comment about the Death Singer's theme. Dan, if you had anything, just can't talk about it. That's a good theme.
Oh yeah. So that one I put together we had a week of just like, all right, go off, make Valtaris music, because it was sort of amorphous at the time, and we'll just see what comes out. And it had a few criteria. One was it has to be tragic, it has to be sad. But I don't want to give anything away, but the Death Singer story is it made me very sad. I think it's very tragic, and so it had to be that. It had to be mysterious because we don't really know much about him, especially in season 1. He's this kind of legend. And then at the very end, it has to go a little bit evil and corrupted. So with that in mind, I just kind of jammed for a bit, and that's what I came up with.
It was funny when
reharmonized it.
All the behind the scenes and streams and stuff up to this point have had like the Voltaris theme in like 10 different versions, and I was really wondering like, is anyone going to call out the fact that there's so much Death Singer theme music, but he only showed up briefly? So I was like, someone's going to maybe notice that. No one really thought about that too much.
I think that theme was absolutely the best theme. It's got so many layers to it.
It's way better.
It's a good sound for the series because the story kind of follows that theme.
I think that's also why we chose to open with that one. I was very careful about saying like I don't want the opening bit of the series to be the main theme. I wanted the opening to be the Death Singer's theme because in a way a lot of this really is kind of his story, and his story I think encompasses the kind of overall dramatic mood of the series. It's also where we got a Marith, layer a bunch of Marith to make them. So we are also we're a little over right now, but I was saying I don't mind staying a little bit later on this one. If anyone does need to like head out, if anyone's busy or needs to be somewhere, feel free to head out. Although I'd like to keep this one going a little longer just because there's so many people here, and this is the last one of the season.
Yeah.
You know, there was something in the chat asking, is Death Singer gay? And I think his sexuality is power. He likes power.
Okay.
Power sexual.
Wants the prime songs.
The Death Singer was really fun to write, especially in the season 3. I think he had some of his best lines there.
Well, to be fair, there are not many females in the Mardoni clans.
Yeah, so the reason behind that was because when we were doing machinima stuff, it was so hard to find like a single voice actress. And if we did, it was like, oh my god, you got a voice actress in your machinima. That's insane.
I remember those days. Yeah.
So we were we're gonna be very careful. We can only have so many. We'll make like Magnarites will be all male. Ardoni, the female, will be kind of rare. And then we did the casting, and suddenly it's like, you all here were like auditioning, and we're like, oh my god, that sounds great. Oh my god, that sounds great.
Well, that explains why Gallius and Thalius don't talk at all. Like I mean, guess human families.
That was probably one of the hardest aspects of casting because we had so many good female auditions and only a handful of female characters. So it was really hard to like. Any of them could have really played any of the characters. It was really difficult to allocate the voices, and it's a shame that some of the kind of side characters were also some of the the best auditions, but because we didn't have any other remaining female roles, they had to take some of the background ones.
The girl who's in Hogtown, the one who's like that Magnemite's on the edge of our town, she was really
was the
close
one
to
I was
getting one of the
referring to.
leads. Yeah, she was really her normal stuff was really good.
So
And
what
it
did
was,
it come down to then, really? Like when you actually
that's a good
casted?
question. Yeah, Badger, Sam, and I, what did we like use to determine? We had a lot of
What did you
factors.
look for, like in like a lot of the characters?
Ria had to be very specific. I think we wanted someone who could be young, like have a young voice, but also have a strong
Yeah, I was about to say
character.
I felt Rhea needed to have a bit more of a gentle voice because she was so young, and then for Abigail, because of where her story goes, I imagine she was more of like a more mature, kind of older sounding voice.
But that also even applied to Rhea, kind of.
Um,
I mean, it might have applied to Rhea if something like that could have happened in a theoretical setting.
Permission to ban David.
What I was gonna say
Permission granted.
Was
I'm the director now.
I know one thing I looked for was very much the like what you guys say in your emails or in your things. That was very important to me. Like I would read the email, and if you just said, you know, attaches my audition, and then attached it. To me, that was a lot less interesting than if someone was like, hey, you know, I heard about the series. It sounds really interesting. You know, I've been following your channel and stuff. Here's just something, and I would actually use a lot of that because to me, I would much rather have like voice actors and actresses who are interested in the series, who are able,
gauging the investment.
Yeah, having people like
so
here.
there was an
with us.
arbitrary reason.
Yeah. Wait. What?
You know, it has a lot to do with building a character. It's like you know, you're explaining why you want this character because you're kind of explaining the qualities of this character that maybe you're attracted to, or maybe that you're not attracted to, but you want to explore as a fun acting. It just adds that extra layer. It just shows that you're going to go the distance, so to speak, to make that character more alive.
Yeah. Well, I know we talked a lot about in Carl's case, like for Thalius, we wanted a voice actor for Thalius who was just exceptional, had the voice. But we also wanted someone who was going to be like kind of fun to work with, who was willing to show up to like streams and stuff. And we didn't know if we'd be able to get both. We were like, because we went on a professional website at one point for like big professional expensive voice actors because we were really running out of ideas. And we found these voices, they were cool, but we were like, man, these people, they're not going to show up to like a Discord call and hang out. And then right at the end, we got Carl, who was perfect for both, had the fun to work with, fun to do the lines with, and also got the...
You took a chance on me, and I've been forever grateful. And to even be here now, and to keep coming in, even after, during the period where my character had died and be rebranded with someone else, it's euphoric, and I can't thank David, I can't thank the writers, the production team, everybody who's been on board with this, even if it's just like, oh, it's just another gig. No, this is something very true to my heart, and thank you, everyone. Please, virtually take a bow.
Oh,
Well,
I mean, and thank you, Carl, for being so incredible with doing Thalius and now getting to come back as Gallius, and you're right. I mean, everyone's made this, whether it's the cast or the crew or the fans. I mean, this is just such a special series, special thing, I think, and I'm just thankful that we each kind of get to play a small part in making it all come together.
This gives an interesting insight because in my auditions, when I do the email, I tend to be dryly professional. So maybe I should try to play up a little bit more.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Definitely.
I find
Absolutely.
the people that are slightly less professional, not in like an unprofessional way, but just in a more like
personable way.
Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, more personal. People are just personal, talk about themselves, said they're interested to let me know. In fact, I won't mention, but there's another voice actor who had a cool voice, and it was the exact opposite of kind of what I wanted, because it was so professional and so kind of, I didn't know if he'd be someone fun to work with for the character, and I did get him a part, but then that definitely plays a big factor. And then Badger, I guess you should probably speak about this a little bit as well. You spent a long time really looking into the voice actors kind of past stuff, their past auditions.
Oh yeah, I stalked everyone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa.
No, I it was part of it was like, hey, I'm gonna go on like the casting call profile to see some of the voice actors had like there's one that had the guild requirements, and some of them were like, I won't take a gig for underneath this much money. And some of it is like we weren't sure exactly the voice that we wanted, so I'd go back for old auditions from different projects and see the different range, because I know that was something.
Oh yeah, that was a big one.
That was like we had like only a couple lines to judge someone.
I'll be
and we're
honest.
like, well, we like the voice, but can they do the emotion that we want? And so it's like, well, I'll look at the past auditions or any projects they've done to see if they've been able to do that, and then I'd report back.
Given where auditions is, especially on CCC, very rarely you'll catch on to their personality, especially in their description. Like me, I'll like write everything. Carl is a blah 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 blah, and it will be very serious tone. You wouldn't even know anything about my personality, just merely my ethic. That's it.
I mean, I will say for any
I know you got a closing remark later.
That's all I had to say.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, for any aspiring actors, voice actors, take this from someone who does this professionally. Your attitude and your professionalism is what's going to get you hired back again and again. Your talent will get you the first job, but if you're not a nice person or if you're a nightmare to work with, you will not get that second job. I don't care how talented you are. So if you're really thinking about doing this, just be yourself and be cool, because more often than not, someone will hire you if maybe you're not exactly what they're looking for, but you're just a cool person that they're going to be willing to work with you and get you to where they want you to be. That's your ticket to everything.
It's the casting director thing of, but he's just so fun in the Discord call.
Right? No, it really is. So I don't know if just quick, like any Broadway fans out there, but Spring Awakening, Jonathan Groff got the part. He was he was like of like the final round of people that they wanted. He was their last pick. But they remember that he laughed at himself like during some audition, and they remember that's why they brought him back. He was just easy to work with.
Wow.
And that goes a long way.
Yeah, no, I'd absolutely agree with that. That's definitely that kind of thing is what we look for. Yeah.
Yeah.
What Medj was saying a moment ago about the casting call club, we definitely. What was nice about casting call club is we had all your previous auditions. You auditioned for completely different projects, and we would look through those and be like, okay, well, I very much remember it was Nika's. We were looking through Nika's, and we were, because like we were saying, we're debating between all these different voice actresses for the female roles, and we found an old audition for some random thing where she had this little giggle and something just like that, like a little thing. It was like the perfect giggle. I'm like, yep, that's Nika. So we went back into these old things and found just a little line or a little laugh or something that just was like, yeah, that's it.
That's what made casting so awkward, because you had to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many good auditions, but if we didn't just feel it,
yeah,
and I think the worst case of that was with Thalius, because we had so many good auditions, but Thalius was so specific. If you just didn't click, and that's why his was the last, or was that Zulius?
Zulius and Tidesinger were last. Carl was close to the end, but the reason actually, for those wondering, Carl didn't get it right away. In your first audition, you sent the one where it was like Carl G. Brooks, and it had
I hate this story.
No, it was good, but the problem was the microphone. Everything was good.
Yeah. Well, at first, the first rounds of auditioning, I was working on a different mic. It was the last round of auditions where I was working with a new mic, but my one was the position had the mic in, and two was. I think it was getting a little carried away with normalization at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but once we sorted that out.
Those are the big issues. Those are the two main issues. But once we fixed those, yeah, we got it.
Yep. We're getting kind of close to the end. Sorry, I was just gonna. I don't want to just go on absolutely forever.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone starts having like final questions, maybe like just wrapping up questions. Has anyone seen anything that they've seen so far that we haven't gone over that they wanted to go over?
It's moving.
There's all the season 2 talk in the chat that will not go away.
We're gonna get a season 2?
Oh my god, will there be a season 2?
I could go ahead now.
Years, probably.
Yeah, what happens? What happens next?
Well, here's the script. Here you go. So
find out in 3 years.
I mentioned this a little bit behind the scenes, but this is one thing that might have been a little bit of my bad going back like 4 years ago when I started this. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make this big series. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a huge thing. And then I realized just how much work it was. I don't think people will ever realize, like, I don't have weekends. I don't have like time off. I get up, I work, I go to sleep. I get up, I work, go to sleep 7 days a week for years, which I enjoy. It's a lot of fun doing it. But at the same time, it took so long. And before the animators came in, they'll remember, like, I was getting really burnt out. I did episodes 2, 3, and 4 completely on my own animating, and I was like, wow, that just took, you know, like 8 months, and I'm only a few episodes in. So then we got the animators on, they helped out and stuff. But then even still, it still took a very long time. So the question about season 2 becomes, like, we absolutely want to do it, but depending on how season 1 performs, it might just not be possible. There's a lot of factors onto why the whole series takes way longer than our normal animations. Getting through the voice work, going through like casting things, going through having the voices in there and animating the faces, the lip sync, all the extra things with lighting and effects, and it's way bigger production than our normal stuff. So unless it really performs enough to warrant another season, we can't guarantee another season. But I will have, even if we don't get another season, I do have a lot of stuff I can still release as far as like the scripts and show like the sets and the places things would have taken place, but obviously that wouldn't be as exciting.
Unless Netflix budgets us.
Unless, yeah, well, that's the thing, like...
Netflix
Please.
or Rooster Teeth?
If some opportunity like that came up, that would be...
If Rooster Teeth or Netflix comes in and says, retrofit this out of Minecraft and you've got a show, we'll fund it, then... Oh boy!
I will drive over and do it all over again if it's on Rooster Teeth.
Oh
Oh God, me too.
Heartbeat.
We both live pretty close.
Trinity has a question. Something about the voice of Thalius. I put this in the chat. I couldn't tag you. Look up Medal of Honor Frontlines and listen to the narration, and that's where Thalius came from.
Oh, that's a fun fact.
Wait, what was that?
I can't list. Medal of Honor Frontlines. It was an old PS2 game.
Oh yeah.
And the narration to that really stuck with me, and for whatever reason, that became the voice of Thalius, or at least my impression of the voice of Thalius.
Yeah, you'll get inspired by some weird stuff. You know, I know that the narrator for a 90s PC strategy game, Total Annihilation. I love that guy. I have no idea who he is.
It's like I can't name the guy off the top of my head. I've seen him in other stuff. I've seen him in Doctor Who. His son actually is oh god, he's in Supernatural. He's the one guy that everyone talks about. He's also Badger in Firefly. But no, it's like it's all related.
That's actually where my name came from.
Really?
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Dun, dun.
And then I was doing a D&D session, and I was like, oh, I want to play a bard, and I'll just use Badger. So Badger the bard.
There you go.
That's
nice.
amazing.
Alliteration.
Here's a good question that interested me a lot. Was someone's asking if there was any villains or characters that inspired the Death Singer. Do you guys remember any? The first one that came to my mind was Maul.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh. That was not Darth Maul, but the Clone Wars Maul, where he was very like calculating and he was very good at like working with people to get him to kind of do what he wants. He wasn't just kind of going and do everything on his own.
Not episode 1 Maul, when they gave Maul the personality.
But once they gave him his personality. There's other villains I can think of that I might not want to say because it might kind of like
All right,
say too much.
Poseidon here. I answered it. I just answered it.
Oh, they'll just keep asking over.
He's asking the same question. He's still asking the question. Poseidon hair. I answered it.
Sarah
Medal of
Badger,
Honor. Front lines.
Do you remember any other inspirations that?
I don't really have any particular characters when I would write. I tend to follow your lead a lot. I was like, okay, well, this is what David wants, so that's what I'll do. And then it'll be just a mishmash of all kind of shows that I watched or was watching at the time.
Sometimes I would even I would give you like here's an example of the kind of what we're going for the character first. Also, Sophie joined. I didn't know Sophie joined earlier. Sophie, is anything you want to say about like Baby Luna, Baby Dragons, Dragon rigging? Got so many questions about Baby Dragon, Baby Luna.
How to train your Abigail?
I don't know if she wants to speak or not. She might be shy.
There is a question from Solar Flare for David and I guess the writers and Sam and all that. Are all the Voltars evil? If not, will we see any good Voltars? I don't know if we want to address that.
There's no one's inherently good or inherently bad. Everyone's
Hmm.
kind of on the grey, and I think we can already see a difference between the Death Singer, who feels justified in what he's doing, versus Tigran, who takes pleasure in what he's doing. But then you have characters like Thalius, who also goes down a pretty questionable path of basically going out and killing Voltaris because they are Voltaris. So
That
yeah,
is
take-
kind of
take
questionable when you put it like that.
Yeah.
Take that as you will.
Most
There
most
is-
characters are in the kind of, if you go, they're like on one end there's like Igneous, who's like, I'm Igneous, he's just a little snowflake. But then you go to the other end.
I don't think Igneous has hurt anybody.
He punched
He hurt
Jalkar.
Jalkar.
He
Punched
punched
him in
Jalkar
the
a little
stomach.
cramp.
There is no
Lava
good and
monster
evil.
is a
Only
snowflake.
found
There's,
those two
I think there's
diseases.
one character I would put on the very opposite end of Igneous,
Oh,
but I won't say who because that, there is one character I think would be on opposite of Igneous, and then most of them I would say are in the middle. I'm very particular about making sure. I absolutely hate when villains, especially in like Hollywood stuff, they're just like, I want to destroy the world, but it's like why would anyone ever want that? What does that achieve?
We spent we had a good discussion actually on both the Voltaris motivation and Death Singer's motivation when I first started. Kind of trying to hash that out to kind of keep a tone consistent throughout all 3 seasons.
Yeah.
There was a lot of back and forth.
Just confirmed there's 3 seasons.
Well, we wrote them all. We wrote 3. I think it was important.
You voiced them all.
Yeah. When writing the villains, we definitely, I think for me, I looked a lot at like, give them a culture. If you give them like a culture and kind of history, then they have reasons for what they do, and it kind of makes a little more sense at least. But also don't want to make them just. I don't want to make villains just so like too justified to the point where they're no longer villains.
Yeah, you can do
Skyfall.
villains with a pretty, one-sided, like archetype filling that evil for the sake of being evil. But I think we found them far more interesting when they had a kind of morally grey motivation as opposed to just killing everyone in Ardonia or something.
Yeah, no, there's really no one that's just completely like that.
It's true. I mean, even if you just look at the Magnorites, I mean, everyone talks about how mean they are, but then you see how Igneous is treated, and then you're sort of given, oh, this is why so many of the Magnorites are mean because of how they've been treated. So you guys do a good job with the writing and sort of justifying why the villain is kind of the way they are. And same thing with Death Singer. I mean, we find out that you showed in the first episode or whichever episode it was that he was denied what he genuinely thought he deserved, and so then you have that is what comes from that. So I think that's what makes the villains in your series just so rich.
I had a total zone out.
Thank you.
I was going to say something. I totally forgot. I have absolutely no idea what I was going to say.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I heard you, Jackson. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you, Badger.
I'll say thank you too. I'll rewatch it later because I totally saw
What was that? You said Fun Season 2? Oh,
Fun-
hey.
wait, what?
Yeah, fun. I
What
heard
was
Fun
it?
Season 2.
Ban
Yeah.
David again? Okay.
Someone else taking on the question while I try to remember. what it was.
Here's one
Have a
from
drink
Rebecca Whitmer. Have you ever thought about doing a short story about the backstory from each character, or not? I have, especially as I see the animation, thought about doing little companion pieces with David's approval, of course. I haven't sketched anything out yet, but I've definitely thought about it.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, do it.
That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
I will
Definitely
try.
want to see that.
I'll animate
Oh,
you.
Skyfall.
It's Skyfall.
It's Skyfall.
Yeah.
Well, I absolutely can't remember what I was thinking of. It was important, whatever it was, which is why I got distracted because it was important, but I don't remember what it was now. But oh well.
Well, clearly it wasn't that
I guess
important.
not that. No, it was something when talking about the villains and the Voltaris and how some of them were kind of justified, some of them kind of weren't. I had this cool idea, but I don't remember anymore. Although on that note, we haven't gone for about an hour and a half. Normally we go for an hour. If any of you here need to head out,
I actually do have to pee.
Oh, okay.
You are weak.
Have to please the pee.
The pee
Lots of delicious bee.
I have to pee.
If you need to...
Really? 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 You said that out loud. Oh my god. Open wide.
Sorry.
We can take a 5-minute break, maybe, for everyone.
I do.
Well, I was
have
supposed
to
to,
head
yeah,
out,
if you need to
but-
head out, this is a good kind of stopping point. However, I might let the stream keep going for a little longer, because there's a lot of questions that we haven't really gotten to,
Well,
and this is the last one of this season.
out. Thank you, everyone. You have my love and my Twitter handle if you haven't already followed it.
Yeah.
Yes. Otherwise, yes. Have a good day. Enjoy your Sunday, and love you.
We say
Love you, Carl.
Bye.
Take care. Make good choices.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Boys,
Seriously, it's been a
And
blast.
they
And
never
you
saw
guys can
him
message
again.
me on Discord
Well,
if you have any
like
questions.
everyone else, I can hold in a black.
Everyone's talking over Tom.
But yeah, just thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. It's been amazing, and I really do hope season 2 happens because there's so much more story to tell. I love watching it along with you guys. But thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. This has been a few years in the making, and it's been this amazing experience. So if you guys have any questions for me, whatever, you feel free to message me on Discord. You know, whatever. I'm always down to talk and chat and everything like that. But I'll talk to you guys later. Have fun.
Cool, thanks for coming, Tom.
Well.
Thanks,
Bye,
Tom.
Keep making the plushies.
Bye, Tom.
Don't shoot plushies.
Yes, I will work on it. As soon as I hear back from the other series, then I will definitely find out about the plushie for you guys.
Cool, yeah. I'm good to keep going for a little longer, but if anyone needs to head out, we'll keep going. I did remember now what it was. It wasn't actually as important as I thought it was.
No, this is
It was. Well, we
Wow.
were talking. Jackson was talking about the Magnites or something. Someone was talking about Magnites, and I was actually thinking what I was going to say was that is something that we will be finding out. Like that's what Igneous is going to figure out. Igneous is going to figure out what is up with the Magnites. Why are the Magnites so kind of always aggressive, and why does everyone hate Magnarites? And that's now where Igneous he's setting out to find that, which is a cool story. And it's, you know, like you're saying, nothing is ever just Magnarites are all evil, Magnarites are all that. He will be going and he will be finding out what is up with that.
I think that's what
Yeah.
makes his story in season 2 so interesting, because in something like Mass Effect is a game that we take a lot of inspiration and ideas from, I guess.
Mhm.
But they do a really good job of giving you interesting characters that allow you to explore that species or that culture through the character, and through Igneous you get to learn much more about the Magnarites, but without that crucial, like, interesting character to be the catalyst between that, it's not quite as interesting to watch and witness.
Yeah, it's not the same if you just like read it in a book.
Yeah, that's why his stuff is really cool in season 2.
Yep.
Make it happen.
One of the reasons I want season 2 is just for all the voice bloopers and stuff.
Oh,
I have there's so many great voice bloopers from seasons 2 and 3 and stuff that I can't share yet, or like the memes. We'll make like a meme that uses stuff from all 3 seasons. We
Yeah, the
can't share
story
yet.
is great, but I want to make some.
I
more
want
memes.
the memes and bloopers.
And just do the bloopers.
Just go straight to the bloopers.
I think
Blooper the
that
scenes
the
I haven't
bloopers
seen.
give the series a much more like lighter, like, life to it.
Can't believe you
They were
were
definitely good at it.
against it for a long time.
Yeah, well, I still kind of feel when we rewatch stuff in 1 through 10, it is kind of hard sometimes when you get to some of the scenes where a blooper shows up and you start thinking
But
like,
we've been doing that.
We've
It's
been
gives
doing
it a
that anyway,
charm.
so yeah, it almost gives it a kind of. As long as it's not like the major things. Oh, Alyssa's heading out. Thanks for coming, Alyssa.
Bye, Alyssa.
Oh my god.
Chat's freaking out.
That was loud.
That was so
All
loud.
together.
What other any other questions been coming through? So I kept
Can you
seeing
go back
some.
in time through the poll?
Oh
No.
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 I think did I mention that? Oh, I mentioned in the chat the other day that this is the only time time travel shows up. We obviously it can be a very like time or story ruining thing, so we only did this once just to get that cool kind of like it sets the whole story up. The whole story is set up because
Yeah, the mystery reveal.
Yeah, the mystery reveal is that this thing in the past, literally, like Thalia said, is coming again. But that's the end of it. Peas out. A lot of people are saying peas. Why are they all talking about peas all of a sudden?
They've been talking about peas on the stream.
Okay. Question for Zophie Cat. What inspired you to become a part of the Songs of War, and will you become a BPS animator?
Oh.
Good answer.
It was the dragon, right? That's how you... dragon, you were rigging, and then you became an animator.
Well, you literally were like, hey, that's a nice test animation. Do you want to become Sensor Mirror? I'm like, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Nice.
That's cool.
Let me beefing that story up a little bit. So
That's my story of
rigging.
how I became a Sensor.
You made the dragons, made the baby dragon, and then you did a little animation test with little baby Luna. And I was like, wow, that's really good. And I was like, do you want to just animate the scene? So you animated every bit of baby Luna in season 1, right?
So cute.
You did a reveal scene, and then you did the bit in the montage. With a little bit of polish for me, but 99% you.
So you haven't animated any of Luna yet, David?
I do a little polish on everything. I touch basically everything. But
that doesn't. Oh dear.
And I polished a bit of everything. But yeah, as far as the main animation, yeah, it was Zophie for those 2 scenes.
You know, regards season 2, totally up in the air, but are there other ways to get to those bloopers? Like if we did it as an audio drama season 2, or had kind of a storyboard, or rendered stills instead of animated shots?
I'm sure we'd try to work into something at least. And that's even for like the whole, if we can't do season 2, I'd at least like get on the world, fly around, and kind of not act it out, but kind of explain, like, so here's what the characters would have meant. And, like,
yeah.
I wouldn't. It would be a shame if I just released the script and nothing else, and they just read it and you didn't get all the...
Yeah.
There's so much good voice work in season 2 and 3.
Oh yeah, because the casting process
Yeah.
really turned out some good stuff.
We went through a lot, and it'd be a shame if that wasn't even like heard, because we get some really good lines later that really stand out for me.
Season 2's in the
Songs of War season 2 radio drama.
Budget.
Wait, what?
Yep, make it like a comic, like do it like a comic style, so it's stills.
That'd be cool.
The problem I have with doing the kind of is this kind of weird degree of like, the less detailed we go with it, the less viewership it'll get, and then the less it'll be worth doing that much work on it. So then so you kind of make it less detailed, and then it would get even less viewership, so it's less worth doing all that work. So it's this kind of like, the less work you put into it, the less it'll be received, and then the less it's worth it. So that's kind of why it's a challenge for me. Because I guarantee if we did like a small comic book, that would still take a lot of time, going through renders, going through all the sets, getting all the things exported, designing characters that haven't been designed, Greg, making all these things that look cool, and then do all that, and then because it's not the actual series, it wouldn't perform like the series, and might 30,000-40,000 people might watch it or something. So that's where it's a kind of challenge.
If you do it,
that's the problem. If it's high quality,
yeah, I think it's either go all out or just kind of like release the script and then I'll just kind of fly around the world and talk about it. It's probably gonna be one of those 2 things, I think.
Sweet.
So either like a pretty low effort, but you get the whole story and you can read it, or the full effort.
We have a full movie of season 1 in one full video coming out in 2 weeks' time. That is going to be the big
deciding factor.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Like, just if you want to see the whole thing together, all in one.
Share that video.
Yeah, that's the one. Watch it, share it.
Buy all the merch.
Send it to your mum.
Send it to your dog.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. If you do want to support season 2 and fund season 1 that took so long to do, you can become a patron, or you can check out like Songs of War merch. Merch is a big one now. We have quite a few designs on.
Merch is good, Patreon's good, and even just watching and sharing it, especially the full movie. Yeah, the episode started, like, episode 1 was doing pretty great, and then each episode, few people drop off, and then less people show up than drop off. So each one kind of has been a little less and less and less and less. So we need the whole full movie to really like pick up. Which luckily, and on the positive potential sense, a lot of our other animations do so, and then the full movie comes out and destroys the rest in views. So it's
there's a reason we stopped doing parts.
Yeah.
Early on.
But there's also the advantage of doing parts and then releasing the full, because the full sometimes does super well.
Yeah.
But in this case, we have 10 videos that are all over 10 minutes, so they all earn a better ratio for the full movie to come out and kind of kill off 10 videos worth.
Yeah,
might
potential.
almost do more
Well,
harm than
they're
good.
pretty killed off already.
Yeah, well.
So some of the episodes are getting very, very little views already now. It's just a few thousand like a month.
The positive side is the people that have watched have become so invested.
Yeah, I know. That's why this is gonna be such a hard decision, whichever gets made. Either it's gonna be, sorry we can't do it, and man, that's like all these people. We've never had the community this like strong, this many people involved, doing fan art, just telling us how much it's awesome, doing reactions, doing tributes, doing like music videos. Someone made a Ardoni cake. People did a yeah, it's a little Ardoni cake. Got a
cake?
Yeah, you seen the Ardoni
Yeah.
cake? They made a cake and they had like little Ardoni markings all over it. It's funny.
Oh, we had like Thalius' sword made.
Oh yeah, someone did a Thalius sword. That was cool.
What?
Wait, really?
Yeah, someone made Thalius sword.
That's
like,
awesome.
Painted it and everything. It was cool.
Oh my god.
So yeah,
I guess one of the deciding things, and which would make it really hard to calculate, but how many people were driven to the Patreon and bought merch of it, and what episodes did that?
If everyone who watched episode 10 pledged $1, that'd be easy. Job
Everyone-
done.
if everyone watched episode 10 pledged 10 cents.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me
Make 'em
asking,
buckets.
what is considered to be enough viewers in this context?
Well, again, it's not so much viewership over it's earnings at the end of the day. You know, we have to pay the animators, we have to pay ourselves, we have to pay our rent, we have to pay food and stuff. I don't give specifics yet, mainly just because I don't actually know the specifics. I haven't like done a full tally. I'm waiting till the full movie comes out. I'm gonna wait a few weeks to see how it's doing, and then I'm gonna like start doing data crunching. I'm gonna start looking at how much it made, how much the bloopers made, how much the merch made, how much the Patreon made, and then also, you know, how much did it cost? How much did it cost for all the animators? How much time did it cost? That's the really big one for me personally, is just the cost of time. Like I spent years on this all day, every day, and to do that again, if I'm doing all that
It's
and I
not
make
even an exaggeration. Like
Yeah.
we've seen the hours he logs,
I have a huge
and it
time
ends
sheet.
up being 10 hours a day, every single day. Like, can you imagine sitting there for 10 hours every single day for a solid year at least, working on this project?
Some days it's like 13 hours.
Them 80-hour weeks.
Like that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of investment, and everyone wants to see season 2. No one any more so than David. But to put that level of investment in something that just doesn't get the same out of it would not be viable.
Yeah.
So
It has to
it
be
really
competitive.
needs
Oh,
to
that's
be
so fair.
self-sustainable.
Yeah, that's true. Because like you have to take care of yourself also.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I didn't want to get into too much. But there's also other things I enjoy, and there's actually other things I kind of wanted to move into kind of after post Songs of War and stuff. And it's kind of a case of like, if Songs of War is not doing well, like earnings wise, and it's just like I'm barely kind of scraping by still, then it's a question of, you know, well, should I just move on to the next stuff I kind of wanted to do, which would still be cool. And that's one thing here's another way of looking at it on a kind of more positive note. Even if we don't get season 2, if you look back to like the old stuff we did, like we used to make rots and stuff and Halo Machinimas, and when I said I wasn't doing Halo Machinimas anymore, a lot of my like big fans were like, oh man, whatever you're doing next, it's not gonna be cool anymore. It's not rots, it's not Machinimas, I'm not gonna enjoy it, kind of thing. But then here we are with Songs of War, and you know, look how many people are enjoying it, and look how many people really loved it. So even if we don't do Songs of War, I will be working on things that I hope you will enjoy as well, and I hope I will make some new thing that will be cool.
It doesn't really matter what kind of content you make as long as people still recognize it, that it's made by you, Dave.
Yeah, yes, if the story is good, if the characters are good, I think that even if we don't get Songs of War, we'll still get something very cool. And I think.
So what kind of projects would be kind of in the pipeline for post Songs of War Black Plasma Studios?
That'd be more of a personal thing. I'm interested in
Yeah.
getting into like indie game development stuff. I've always enjoyed making kind of games, and something like a game, you can still tell stories like Songs of War. You can have narration, you can have characters you meet, but then you can tell in the game and let people like play the game. People are saying I should make a Songs of War game, which would be cool, but that'd be a lot of work for early things.
Yeah. But like an RPG type of thing, you can get so much story into that.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to get
games like Mass Effect are some of like our favorite kind of inspirations, and to be able to make something like that and have people play it would be
A little
Yes.
A little behind the scenes story. We were banned from talking about Mass Effect during
Mass
writing.
Effect, Game of Thrones, and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because every
Because you were
time we
just
would
talking
get into
about it so
calls
much,
about
or-
the story, we were just getting so distracted.
Yeah.
Talking about.
We'd be like, this character's kind of like Garrus. Yeah, I like that about Garrus. Yo, isn't it cool when Garrus did it 10 minutes later? So Garrus and these characters won the massive... Okay, we gotta stop. We're getting off time. Yeah. We talk about any of those things.
David and I got into a debate about Andromeda, actually.
Oh, did we?
Well, yeah, because you were trying to tell me that Mass Effect Andromeda wasn't that good. And I was like, I liked it. And you were like, no, that's not okay.
Oh my god. That must have been
opinions.
That's better than the
Big opinion.
The shield debate. That I don't remember.
Oh.
I think you explained that one before though. But yeah, no. Even if there's no Songs of War, something very cool will still come. You can still follow my projects, and luckily, something like games, you can still have people like voice actors involved. I absolutely try to get voice actors involved again one day, and like have characters and stuff you meet and follow. But we'll see how this does for us. I absolutely do want season, and like I've said previous streams, I know what happened season 2 and 3, and to me that's all the best stuff. It's way more awesome than season 1, and we're even if we do season 2, we're talking about like even touching up some of the stuff a little bit more. Some of the characters who haven't been introduced yet, we might adjust their dialogue a little bit, make it a little bit more interesting. Maybe even see if we can adjust the story slightly without changing like existing dialogue bits to make it even better. So it's if it does happen, it'd be cool, but we shall see. We're getting up to close to around 2 hours. If you guys see any last questions, I'm actually starting to get pretty hungry.
Well, I think regardless of what happens, I think it's really nice that you guys were able to do season 1. You got episodes 1 through 10 done. Boom, they're out. So regardless of whatever happens, just thank you guys for making it.
Yeah. I mean, whatever happens, you made it this far, and it's a great 10 episodes.
Yeah, and you made it so cinematic. It's because I have like a film degree. Like it is better than some of the movies I've ever seen. Like it's
Yes.
so,
Nice.
so
Yes.
well made.
Absolutely.
And so engaging. I love it. It's so good.
Cinematography.
Yeah, it was alright.
So good.
It's okay. No, that's good to hear you say that. But yeah, I think I'm also glad that just the fact that we finished season 1 at all. There was points where I was looking at the big list of all the scenes we had to do. It's just so many scenes, and every single scene had to be animated, faces, lip sync, lighting, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this at all, period. But the fact that we got to the end of the season, people now have the story, they've started the story, they know the characters, they know the world. That's still really cool.
That's something I like a lot, is seeing all the reactions, the people who do the wiki, the fan arts, the cosplay. I'm really touched by it all, to see the project kind of be... It's maybe not as widespread as we would have liked, but to see the people who do watch it and who really do love it is I mean, I love that.
That's why it's a shame that
it's crazy. It's been so long. Those way back in what 2016,
2015,
when we were sitting in a call on Hypixel
on
housing and saying, right, here's my idea for this Minecraft animation series.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Tidesinger, and then explaining the whole like plot to me, and then we went and polished everything, created characters, named everything, named all the towns, had all the different conflicts happen,
fixed a million different plot holes.
Yeah, there was so many and then we David and I and Dan, we lived in Canada together for 2 years, and there were so many we sat on the balcony looking at the amazing British Columbia mountains, talking about Songs of War ideas, and really it's crazy that from that to finally see it all like there, like it exists. It's insane.
Yeah, I was watching there was a documentary on the first Star Wars film. I think it's on Disney Plus, and it's mainly about George Lucas's story and how he got the whole project started. It was such a nightmare to get done because of how many times the scripts were getting rejected by the studios, and just the whole business side of it was aggravating. But the fact that it got done and that there was this whole universe to be explored, like it was this big galaxy. It was a miracle that it all got accomplished. And now it's one of the biggest franchises in entertainment. So, yeah.
Movies like that, like he had to invent ILM in order to make it possible, and now ILM is this giant beast that creates everything now.
Yep. Yeah, the documentary did touch upon what is it, Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah.
And how that almost killed the production because
Mhm.
of how innovative the technology was. You know, it was the time constraints that they had. It was like, you know, you're inventing something groundbreaking, but you don't have enough time to do it, but they still got it done.
Here's a kind of slight change of topic. Skyfall, you haven't had a chance to talk about anything. I'm right now on the screen right now is the big Velgrin battle. Do you know how to talk a little about the Velgrin battle? You animated all the big Ardoni fighting stuff.
Yeah. The reason why I haven't been talking that much is because I have like the chickens in my background making a lot of noise. But yeah, what do you think I should talk about it?
Just how it started. Did you have like inspiration? How's the process? Did you have any like kind of little ideas when you were doing it on like what you wanted to have happen? Did I let you choose the weapons for that one? Because sometimes I let you kind of pick
Yes, I think, but it was mainly for the fight loops that you let me choose some of the weapons for it. The only idea I think I really got for that, there's the chickens one, was when Tigran. Yeah, when Tigran used Athalias's song and kind of teleport up on the side of the hill where the other song wielder Ardonis were, and he kind of killed the first one, and then the other one like used his song thing and blasted one in the air, and you could see him going up, and the camera followed him and showed the battle going on underneath. That was a part I was really proud of.
Yeah, it was a cool shot. A lot of people commented on that shot being really cool.
Yeah, and I remember you saying like you weren't sure how it would work because the song that the Ardoni had, it doesn't really do that.
Yeah.
And watching it back, I saw what you did where it kind of released like a burst of those
Yeah,
things.
a bunch kind of chunked
And
out.
when it's like,
Yeah.
and
I was like,
threw 'em
I
up
want to get
in
that
the
shot.
Yeah, that was one part that I was really happy with. I think I could have made I probably should have made the little small fight between Zulius and Tigran a bit longer. But overall, I'd say that's some of the best fight animation stuff I've ever done. That scene.
I think my favorite one of yours was Jalkan Grim against the Voltaris.
That was a really
good one.
That was so
That was
sick.
pretty good as well.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But yeah, I'm just really, really extremely happy I got a chance to work alongside you guys on this project.
It was fun watching your episode 6 reaction to that fight. We were just talking about like you had seen the fight, but not all like the visuals and songs effects and the electricity. You were just like, whoa! You was like singing it all over again.
It's like seeing it for the first time because with all those effects, it was like so great, man. Even the episode 10 one with all the songs and stuff like that was just so amazing. Like you did an amazing job with the VFX. I've never seen anything like it in Minecraft.
That's what I noticed. I didn't credit myself for VFX or anything or lighting or that stuff. Well, I didn't credit myself
or sound.
All the stuff that I did that was just I didn't credit myself for like sound or effects or lighting. Oh, did my stomach growl just come up in the mic? My stomach just growled very loudly. Okay, that was really loud. That kind of hurt. But there's a lot of stuff I worked on that I didn't actually credit myself for. If it's just something that I just did on my own, I didn't credit for. But yeah, I had to work on like cool songs. That was, for me, VFX was one of my favorite things to work on. I really like doing like the energy songs and electricity, and that stuff's really fun.
That portal shot in episode 10, when it transitions into the past, was absolutely my favorite shot of the whole season.
Oh well.
The colors of like the purple with the
dark black
orange god rays coming through,
and the fight going on the other side. Zillion and I, we had to make sure, like, I told Zillion I want the fight to be like perfectly them colliding right when we see them. They're kind of running at each other, and we view them when they come to collide right there. We had to kind of, if you see like, if you look at them before they're visible, they're all just kind of standing there in this weird broken pose. Then right when they're about to become visible, they start running at each other and like start fighting.
Yeah.
What's the best way to support the series besides Patreon merch? Great question. Watching it, sharing it, becoming part of the Discord community. Once like we're saying, the full movie comes out, just share it. Talk to your friends. And when I say share, I don't mean like just press the share button and like link it to someone. No, ever just like watch this if you just press the share button kind of thing. But I mean actually like talk to your friends about it. Say like, hey, heard this really cool series. There's all this cool stuff going on.
I guess recommend it.
Yeah, like recommend it to friends and stuff. That's like for me.
Have you ever heard of the Hogtown Bartender?
The legends.
It's not a story the Magarites would tell you. But yeah, having it having it be something you actually like bring up in discussion. If I think to like any games I'm aware of, it's usually because a friend told me like, oh, hey, you should check this game out or something, or you see some cool like cutscene of it or something that a friend links you like, wow, check out this awesome fight scene from this random show, and you watch it and be like, oh, that's cool, maybe I want to watch that. So just kind of like discussing it, and that'll help more once the full movie's out, because then you can link the full movie, and also even like linking the trailer, because the trailer does a good job at kind of like summarizing the season.
I think you telling me about Clone Wars actually got me into Clone Wars.
That's quite possible.
And
it's
Clone
now
Wars
like
is
my
my favorite
freaking
animated
amazing
show.
Mhm.
So, just the power of sharing it with your friends, and if you really love the series, it won't be hard for you to just be, to keep going on and on and on about it to people you know.
Mass Effect wasn't on my radar at all until you guys recommended that to me.
Yeah.
Now that's like one of my favorite game series.
I will say after Infinity, I got a random text message just today from one of my friends saying, hey, I started watching Songs of War, and they said the music is so freaking amazing.
Oh, well, tell them I said thanks.
Yeah, I will.
Without the soundtrack, it wouldn't be nearly as quite grand and impressive.
Yeah.
Expensive.
Right.
So lame
didn't just go. Sounds
I think the soundtrack and the
I was
visuals
gonna go
kind of
epi- I
help
was gonna-
each other, make you realize how epic each one is.
Well, before you
That's
were
the
just going to
cinematic
use
quality.
Epidemic music, like our other animations.
Yeah.
But then we were like, make it original.
No, I was going to use Epidemic, and I was going to have Dan just do a few themes and songs. And I remember we were sitting at Mark's house on his balcony, and I was saying like, all right, so yeah, like if you guys can work on a few themes, and I'll use Epidemic for the rest. And you and Mark were like, no.
We were like, yeah, we want to do.
We were like, no, you want
fully
to
original.
make. And he didn't actually stay through the production, but he did help in Mark helped in a lot of the early theming. He did things like Senaria theme, Luke and Nika theme, and Abigail theme.
It sort of became the Feldon Army theme, but it's the one that
Yeah.
played.
The dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, he made a bunch of like big swaths of piano sketches that we could pull from.
But yeah, you ended up scoring the full thing as far as actual music. But yeah, initially I didn't think it was going to be a fully scored original thing. I thought we'd just do like some hit tracks and the rest would be Epidemic. But
You really have created something remarkable, Dan, with the soundtrack. It's
Yeah,
so
thanks.
memorable and just it all blends so nicely together.
Well, what's funny is through the episodes you can see me getting better at actually scoring, where like the first maybe few episodes might be a little janky, like under dialogue, and then eventually I kind of smooth things out as the series goes on. So it's like something that I learned how to do while making.
And that's even like
I'm glad people like it.
For people wondering like what I do next kind of thing. If I do go on and start making games, Dan and I have absolutely been talking about like we'll be working together again and stuff. You'll be doing cool music, more cool music. So they'll and like most of this team will probably still kind of be around. So a lot of if we do something new, it's kind of like the kind of different medium, same people potentially.
That's kind of how any kind of medium works. Like when BioWare makes a game, it's you think, oh, it's BioWare, it's going to be great, but it's always the people who make the games great. And as soon as they're gone, it's not quite the same.
There's Anthem.
So whatever you guys go on and do, it will always be this quality and even better after learning so much from making this.
It's the people who make something great. And I just thought, SpongeBob, after all the original story minds left in seasons 4, we're terrible.
They were.
Oh, that was my bag.
Oh, that's a good perfect point to end it on. Back up, and the credits are rolling right
They
now.
were terrible.
Yeah, the credits are rolling. It's been about a 2-hour mark, and it's got a perfect kind of ending point here at the end of the
Big ol' stream.
So thank you everyone for watching. Thanks for coming out. Keep an eye on our community channel. Keep an eye on our main channel. Join our Discord. Link in the description.
Cool.
Keep up to date on everything. Got more stuff coming. Got the full movie in 2 weeks.
When's
or
the
so.
full coming out?
I think 2 weeks from now. Yeah. Give it a little time to breathe. Probably do a music video in between now and then. So thanks everyone for watching, and I was gonna say I'll see you next thing, but I don't know when the next thing will be. So.
Now, everyone.
Bye.
Forever.